Welcome back to the third part of 6.3 Trig Notes. We're going to still talk about graphing ellipses or writing the equations for ellipses. So taking a look at this example, it says write the equation for the ellipse with a foci at 0, 0, and 0, 8, and a major axis length of 16. So let's first plot what we know. You have one foci here at 0, 0. You have another foci at 0, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have a major axis length of 16. Well, what I know is that the foci are on the major axis, so my major axis is going vertically. So if it's elongated vertically, I know that the form that I'm looking to get my equation is where the a value has to be under the y minus k portion, because the a value, which is the major axis, is elongated vertically. And again, the reason that I knew that was because when I took the time to plot my focus, notice that my foci points are vertically from each other, so therefore this has to be the vertical axis, or the major axis, I should say. So with that being said, again, the things that I need to know are my HK, my A value, and my B value to be able to graph this. Right now, the only thing that I know is where my center, or I can figure out my center based upon my foci. So what I know is that the center has to be the halfway point between the focus. So if I've gone up to 8, the halfway point would be 0, 4. So that has to be the HK. So I know that the center is halfway, is the halfway point between your focus points. So HK is 0, 4. And then now what that will help me figure out is that this distance is C is 4. Okay? So C is 4 because C is the distance from center to foci. Well, the other piece of information I was given is that the major axis length is 16. So if the whole entire length is 16, half of it would be 8. So 8 would have to go above the center and below the center. So if I go up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that has to be a vertex. And if from the center I go down 8, that has to be my other vertex. Okay, so again, this total length then would be 8 plus 8, which would give me that length of 16. So now I know my vertices, which are helpful in the fact that now I can find out that my A value is 8. So if A is equal to 8, then I know A squared is equal to 64. So I still need to find B. To find B, I'm going to have to use the idea that C squared equals A squared minus B squared. So C was 4, A was 8, or I could already put the 64 in there. And now I can find what B squared is. So negative B squared would be equal to negative 48 divided by negative 1, and I would get B squared to be 48. Again, I know that that means that B is the square root of 48, but really, I don't really necessarily care what B is because I don't have to plot it. I just have to write the equation. So I really care more for the fact that B squared is 48. So let's put a 48 in here. Let's put a 64 in here. Let's put a 0 in for the H and a 4 in for the K. That would leave me then with my final answer of x minus 0 squared would just be x squared over 48 plus y minus 4 squared over 64 would have to equal 1. So that would be my equation for this ellipse that is elongated vertically with a major axis of 16 and foci at 0, 0, and 0, 8.